Let me introduce myself. My name is Sonia Mispriani Banu. Here I will explain about the component of curriculum, namely teaching. First, we have to know what the competence standard, basic competence, and the purpose or objective of teaching. Competence standard dealing with understanding the teaching and learning process in language teaching. And then basic competence. The first is recognizing the roles of stakeholders in teaching and learning design, and the second, understanding appropriate design of teaching and learning process in language teaching. And we have instructional objective. After, the, after this course, the students are expected to be able to the first identify the roles of institution in language teaching design, the second identify the roles of teacher in language teaching design, the third describe the learning process in language teaching, the fourth describe the teaching process in language teaching, and the fifth is formulate teaching design in a lesson plan. After saying the objective of the material, the first thing we need to know is the role of the institution. Educational institution is responsible for the systematic transformation of knowledge, skill, and cultural values within a formally organized structure. The first is the organization culture. School organization culture refers to the ethos and environment that exist within the school, the types of communication and decision making that occur, as well as the management structure and staff it support. Second is quality criteria in an institution. It talks about the mission or goals of the institution and the strategic plan or vision of the institution. The quality of mechanism and curriculum reflected in the school program. Then a flexible organization framework and the treatment of professional teacher. So, this is the character of a quality institution. Third is the teaching context. Include in the teaching context are school size and staff structure and then school equipment or technology in school and teachers workspace and teaching facilities and then class size is a teaching context and still a lot. Okay, next we have the role of teacher. Many things can be done to create a context for good teaching, but it is teachers themselves who ultimately determine the success of program. Teacher is help students learn by imparting knowledge to them and by setting up situation. The first role of teacher is one of the main role that must be filled by a teacher is a resource specialist where he or she share the knowledge he has when students don't know something. Supporter. Students are people who need support when learning a new skill or piece of information, so teachers should support students. And then the teacher becomes a mentor and also a student. When the teacher doesn't know something, he can ask his student too. And next slide is the teaching process. The focus here is on the teaching practice that occur within a program, how this can be characterized, and how quality teaching can be achieved and maintained, including planning, implementation, evaluation. The first thing to look at is teaching model and principle. Teacher principles are a product of their experience, their training, and their beliefs. And next, maintaining good teaching. Quality teaching cannot simple by assumed to occur. This is the result of active and continuous efforts. Therefore, maintaining good teaching refers to monitoring, observation, in the identification and resolution, share planning and documentation, and sharing of good practice. And then next, evaluating teaching. If a program seeks to provide quality teaching, it is essential that teacher perform be regularly review. This involves the development of an appraisal system. Okay, next slide. We have the learning process. Learning is the process of acquiring new understandings, knowledge, behaviors, skills, values, attitude, and preference in the learning process. And then student must understand the class. It is important to ensure that learners understand the goals and reasons for being organized and taught, and the approach to learning they will be encouraged to take. And next, views of learning. The views of learning is students' views on teaching and learning. How happy are learners, and will they need any special orientation or teaching? This is the views of learning. And then the following is the learning style of the learning process. The learning style of the learners is an important factor in teaching success and may reflect the style recommended by the teacher. Felder and Silverman defined learning style as characteristic strengths and preference in the way people receive and process information. Learning style also have three types, namely visual learning style, auditory learning style, and kinesthetic learning style. And then the last one is motivation and support. It means the teacher give a motivation and support to the students. And then the last option A, we have application of curriculum through lesson plan. The definition of through lesson plan is the act or process of making plans for something, and learning is the act of teaching something to somebody. So, the learning plan is a plan for teacher to teach certain subject at certain grade levels and to a certain topic, and to one or more meetings. The things that must be written in the lesson plan are, the first is subject matter identity, such as title of the lesson and theme and time allocation maybe. And then the second, there are standard and basic competence, namely the qualifications of students' abilities and students' abilities for certain subjects. And next, we in lesson plan have instructional objective. Instructional objective describe the objective of the process and student learning outcomes. And next, teaching materials covers relevant fact, concept, principles, and procedure in accordance with competency indicators. And next, time allocation. Allocate time as needed. It means allocate time as needed. Next, learning activities. Learning activities means activities carried out during learning. There is pre-activity, while activity, and past activity. And the last is Evaluation. Evaluation assessment procedure and instruments must be based on indicator of competency, assessment, achievement, and refer to standard evaluation.